Where does he get those wonderful toys? This is the anniversary 1989 Batmobile, set number 76139, and it celebrates two things. 30 years since the release of Tim Burton's 1989 movie Batman, and more importantly, 80 years since Batman's creation by Bob Kane and Bill Finger, and his first ever appearance. It's 60 centimeters, or about 23.5 inches in length, which is surprisingly similar to the length of the Porsche and Bugatti supercars. All in all, there are about 3,300 pieces in this set, so it's pretty big, especially for a non-Technic car. Functions include actual steering, which is connected to the steering wheel but has a lot of backlash. By the way, if you want to see the inner workings of some of the stuff I'm going to tell you about, you can check out the speed build on our channel as well. So, steering is nice, though the turning radius is fairly large, I'd say, especially since it's such a long vehicle. Moving further back along the hood, there are machine guns concealed here and here, just like in the movie, and you activate them by twisting the engine nozzle. You can remove the plating beforehand and then raise the guns, but what I like to do is to twist the nozzle really fast, which makes the plates shoot up in the air. It's just like in the movie. It's a lot of fun. The cockpit can open, and I really like the feel of it going slightly up when you reach this point here. It's very subtle visually, but feels very nice in your hand. Now, I know it sounds strange, but the cockpit is where I really get the sense that the atmosphere of the movie comes through. This is where it's conveyed best, if that makes sense. The gray leather seats, those headrests, the gear shifter, and especially the consoles, everything looks so analog, so industrial, almost like Batman had to piece this thing together out of whatever scraps he had lying around. There are even pedals under the steering wheel. Now, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but the idea is that this is the part of the build that gives me feelings, so to speak, makes me look at it as a true connection to the atmosphere of the movie. Okay, sorry to ramble, let's move on. The windshield is a totally new piece, designed especially for the Batmobile, and it works pretty well. It doesn't allow too much light inside, which is what you want, I guess. And here is my attempt at a first-person view from inside the cockpit. As far as shaping goes, this is an excellent effort to capture the curves of the movie version. You can see some of the seams where the major sections meet, but it doesn't really bother me that much, especially since it's all black, and that tends to kind of mask the gaps. You can see underlying colors in some places, the worst offender being the back beneath the exhaust, but even in these areas the designers were careful not to leave any bright yellows or reds or greens, things like that. The detailing on the sides is great. You can even see the grappling hooks over there, but these don't actually shoot, unfortunately. The air intakes are a really dominant feature on the car, and their shape is very difficult to capture. I guess they did the best they could. The designers also came up with some very nice solutions to suggest the compound curvatures at the back, and I love those vents and how they worked out. You just look, excellent. The wings are probably the best they could do with the pieces that they had without resorting to new, huge custom pieces, but you get used to them pretty fast. The headlights use trans yellow bricks with white stickers applied to the back of them to make them pop out more. I like that. Prints can be found here on both sides, on the wheel hubs as well. One last print on the steering wheel, which you've seen already, and the rest is all stickers. Apparently this is built to scale with the tumbler from 2014, which I don't have, unfortunately, to show you a side-by-side. But it even uses the same tires for the rear axle, so together I suppose they'll make a pretty good display. Speaking of display, the car comes with a turntable stand with an information plaque. The stand fits within these Azure Technic bricks here and keeps the whole thing very well balanced. Alright, check this out. You ready? Boom! Yeah, remember how Batman had to turn his entire body because the cowl was just one huge piece of rubber? Remember the bat turn? Well, now you too can go through the same frustrating and amusing problems with this new custom piece they made for him. I think it's fair to say that this piece won't be making any other appearances in future sets, which gives it a ton of value. This is the type of stuff you want to see in a big, expensive collector set, am I right? He gets one grappling hook and a batarang and has 2 facial expressions. The Joker also looks great. You can tell it's Jack Nicholson right away. Honestly, and this has nothing to do with the figure, I never understood why they gave him facial prosthetics when his normal evil grin is scary enough. Anyway, he's armed with a revolver. Unfortunately, it's not the stupid long version from the movie, which would have been hilarious. Vicky Vale has new prints for her body and legs, has 2 facial expressions, and is equipped with a camera. Overall, it's nice to get a new design on the sand green minifig pieces, I guess. The minifigs come with a nice buildable stand with 2 gargoyles, which makes for a great display considering their uniqueness. Now, I'm not going to go into details about how I think Tim Burton's movie cemented the gothic atmosphere of Batman on screen as opposed to the campy version of 20 years prior, but just know that the movie, and this Batmobile in particular, are responsible for many of the aesthetic choices we can find in Batman-related media over the years. Later movies like Batman Forever or Batman and Robin, boo, all took cues from this car when designing their own, but I personally find those less tasteful, too over the top. This one looks menacing because it doesn't care about lights and shiny surfaces and flashy things. It looks tough, very industrial. Industrial Gothic? Is that a thing? Overall, though this isn't my favorite version of the Batmobile, that prize goes to the animated series, it's definitely a worthy rendition. If you're looking for a playable Batmobile toy, however, LEGO has other, much better options for you. This thing is clearly a collector's item and should be judged based on that. I think it does a very good job. So, thanks for watching. Hopefully this will help you make up your mind whether you want it or not. And until next time, happy building!